Okay, so yesterday I said something, I'm going to say it again today. And what's that? It's that you know yourself better than I do. And so to get the best out of this session, I need you to participate as much as you can. In the real sense of it, in the actual sense of it, you are the facilitators. I'm just a guide walking you through the journey or your journey of understanding or navigating the slides that I've put together. So this is it. What if yesterday never happened? What if you were free from your old earth's trauma, sadness, and mistakes? What if you could be healthier and happier and freer to be yourself? What if your life could be transformed by changing your mind? And the good news is that it can. And that's why we're here today, here to tap into the possibilities that exist within you, here to tap into the shifts that can happen when we change our minds, when our minds are transformed. So look at this. Remember, we're embracing vulnerability for this session. If you have a pen and a paper, very good. If you don't have one, it's a good time to go get one, so that we're in here together and we're actually walking through the session together. So if you're with me, write out 7 labels that has been given to you over time that you don't like. So it could be names that you were called when you were younger and growing up. It could be names that you're called now that you're an adult and at work. It could be a name that, it could be nicknames. You know how when we were children, we would give nicknames to smite people and to spite them. It could be anything. Write down 7 labels. When you're done, just type done in the chat so I know to go on. When you're done, just type done. Do you have anyone who is done yet? Write out 7 labels that has been given to you over time that you don't like. You're done, just say done. Okay, so today I'm going to be school principal though. If you don't move, I am going to call names. What if we're not called that again? It doesn't matter. If it was something that happened in the past, it's okay to write them down as well. It doesn't have to be something that you're currently being called. So if it was something in the past that really used to piss you off or that really used to pain you, write it down. Thank you for that question, Janet. It's not up to 7. Fantastic. You know what? Just write what you have. It doesn't have to be up to. Someone else, one more comment, and then we'll move. What if it's not up to 7? Fine. If it's not up to 7, just write what you have. Okay, so I believe that we've now written it down. And this is it. Some happy people became unhappy because of the events in their lives. When life happens, when life throws the curveballs, when life's experiences happens to you, what does it do to you? How does it impact the person that you are now? How does it impact the person that you have become? And I like to think about human beings like a crystal clear water. And you flowed from the divine to nurture humanity. Remember, yesterday we spoke about humanity. But then, by the reason of being a part of this world, life has happened. Things have happened. People have called you names. People have spoken down at you. People have said things to you that shouldn't be said to anybody. Some of us have had to carry the weight of words and the weight of disappointment, the weight of pain and all that. And today we're going to take a look at some case studies. I want you to use the chat function as much as you can as we go through these case studies. We're going to be looking at person A right now. So person A was brought up in an environment by his upbringing was that he was frequently scolded for bringing home any grade below A. So when he brought home any grade below A, you would hear things like, the people that carried first, did they have two heads? His environment, he was surrounded by a high-achieving family where success equated to worth. So if you were not successful, it was almost like you were not worthy. Are you following? Now, this person A, a significant emotional experience is that he was constantly shamed during family gatherings for not meeting academic expectations. So person A is that person whom everybody in their family, the person with the least degree has a master's, and person A is just struggling with his SSC, trying to even get WAEC correctly, right? What do you think, what beliefs do you think person A would have about himself or herself? How do you think person A will view him or herself? Comments in the chat. Like a failure. I like that. Anybody else wants to share? How do you think person A will view themselves? Existing below standard, not good enough, fantastic. So look at this. Person A has believed that I am only valued when I am perfect. Person A will see himself like a failure. See the thing about life. Person A decided, I have seen it. Based on everything that has happened in this our house, based on everything that has happened, that it is only when I do well that I am valued. How do you think person A will be living his life? As somebody's husband or somebody's wife, and as somebody's colleague? This person who thinks they're only valued when they're perfect. What do you think this person's life would look like? What would their outcome look like? So this is it. Person A becomes the colleague who micromanages every task. You're sitting on something, but person A is hovering over you, trying to make sure you're doing it right. Criticism of any kind is not welcome. Exactly. Person A is just very defensive, waiting for you to say anything and is ready to give it to you back. He will expect perfection in everything. So it becomes the partner who is looking on the clock. You say you call by 7 a.m. This is 7:01. You have not called. Person A becomes the entrepreneur who is afraid to take steps because perfectionism. And when you dig deep into perfectionism, it's just fear, the fear of failure. So that's person A. Now we're going to person B. This one, his upbringing, his experience constantly compared him or her to more successful peers. The environment was a social cycle where achievements were the primary topic of discussion. So every time that they went out, they're talking about, this family friend's child that is now in Canada doing things. They're talking about somebody who won a scholarship. They're talking about somebody who is building something. And person A is just like, me, what am I doing with my life? Now look at this person's significant emotional experience, being told, why can't you be more? Why can't you be like your friend who always comes first? What's this person's belief? I am never enough as I am. How do you think this person will currently be living his life? This person is thinking, I'm never enough. I'm never enough. Every time the voice in his head is just saying, you know what, you know you can't do it, you know you are not enough, you know that person did better than you did. From primary school, you've never been enough. What's this person's outcome? This person is the team member who feels threatened by other people's success at work and sabotages the colleagues just to maintain their own standing. They want to be the best. They want to be the face of the organization. They want to be the first person. So they're constantly sabotaging other people. Think about this person as a spouse. Everything that their partner does is like, it's because you are looking at other people that way. That's why you're seeing me like this. So even if the other person is not seeing them as less than themselves, they're seeing themselves as less than themselves, and they will continually act it out. Now look at person C. This one is emotional neglect though. The parents only cared about, well, what's your emotion? What's that? Emotions. What's that? You're crying. I'm going to give you something to cry about. Environment. Emotional needs were secondary to academic or professional achievements. Significant emotional experience. This person is crying. Oh, I had a bad grade. And they are looking at him like, cry me a river. Nobody cares. Now, this person thinks, I can only get love through success. How do you think this person is currently living his life? This person has now become the partner who constantly seeks validation through work accomplishments. So at work, they're constantly doing. They're trying to be recognized. And at home, their partner is saying, come and spend 1 minute with me. Come and sit down and spend 10 minutes with me. But this person is achievement driven. Why? Because the person never learned how to connect emotionally with anybody. Every time that this person expressed emotions, it was met with a wall, with a roadblock. And so this person has become the person who neglects emotional intimacy in relationships. I love you. What's that? And I just want to say, as I take a pause here, that if, as we're doing these case studies, you see yourself in either person A or person B or person C or person D, it's okay. We're going to address it as we go on. So now look at person D. Person D was repeatedly punished for expressing emotions. You are too sensitive. You are too sensitive. He was mocked for crying after a disappointment. And every time he was laughed at. So why are you crying? Are you a girl? Why are you crying? Is it only you? So now, this person believes emotions are a weakness. And so the partner is coming and saying, I don't feel like you love me. And this person is avoiding it. This person is avoiding the conversation. This person is avoiding going there. Why? Remember his upbringing. He was never taught how to. She was never taught how to. And so this person is just on a, this person is just in a place causing strain in their relationships and not knowing why. So they're by themselves destroying the relationship that they're getting into, and they're wondering, what's wrong with me? What am I doing? There's person E, who is our last person in this segment. These parents, it was like, before we gave birth to you, we knew what we suffered. So they overprotected this person and resolved every issues that this person had on their behalf. In the environment, the household was a place where independence was discouraged to avoid mistakes. You want to cook? Don't worry, before salt will now overshadow the food. You want to wash the car? Don't worry, you will not wash it well. You want to pick this? Don't do this, so this person will do it for you. So all the time, this person has had his or her mess cleaned up for them. Now, their significant emotional experiences, they've been shielded from consequences. And the voice ringing in their head is, let's handle it for you. Let's handle it for you. Now, this person's belief is, I can't handle difficult situations. I can't handle difficult situations. But think about the conversation that we had yesterday. This person is not just thinking, I can't handle difficult situations. This person has it at the back of his mind that he is the leader of the home and that his wife cannot impute into the marriage. Or this woman has a mindset that my husband has to lead. If he's not leading, then all of us can, we can enter the bush. What happens? But you're married to a partner who is constantly avoiding responsibility, who constantly looks for someone else to blame when challenges arises, who constantly refuses to own up to their mistakes. Isn't that a recipe for disaster? So you see yesterday when we're saying build according to plan, build according to your peculiarities. This is part of it. So now this is it. What's your own story? What can you remember about your upbringing? What can you remember about your environment? What can you remember about the significant emotional experiences that you've had? What can you remember about the beliefs that you hold? The voice that is constantly ringing in your head, telling you that you cannot. And what reality has that brought? What's the outcome that you're now living in, even though you don't want to? If you want to, you can put it in the chat, but it's okay to just write it in your notes and just go through. So just think about it. What was your upbringing like? Were you overshielded? Were you not shielded at all? Were you neglected? Were you loved? What was your upbringing like? Did you grow up in an abusive environment where you now had to grow defensive mechanisms just to be the person that you are now? The question really is, how happy are you? Are you happy with the life that you have now, with the results that you have now, with the outcome that you now live in? Are you happy? And this is one beautiful thing. You can own your happiness. That gives me so much joy that I don't have to delegate the responsibility of my joy, of my happiness to somebody else. I can build what I want to see. Our brain tends to believe the stories that we tell it. I wondered why you cry when you're watching a movie, even though you know that the movie was not real. The movie is not real. The actors are fine, but somebody dies in a movie and you're crying, or there is a suspense scene in the movie and your heart is palpitating. But you know it's a movie. It's because you're telling your brain a story and your brain is buying that story. And it's the same thing about life. Tonight, I want you to tell yourself a story. Tell yourself a story that promotes your wellness. Tell yourself a story that reflects that person that you see beyond the barriers, beyond the layers of pain, the layers of hurt, the layers of, and the barriers that have held you bound until now. If you were to title that story, and I'll just give us a minute to write a note to ourselves. If you were to title this story, what would you name your story? Your story of how you have overcome, your story of how you have gone through life, gone through the things that life threw at you, but come out stronger, but come out better, but come out happier. Tell yourself a story that changes that picture of bitterness that you have held on to up until now. What would the title of your story be? I want to see titles. What would you title that story? If you were to tell yourself a story that promotes your wellness, a story that promotes your harmony, personal harmony, a story that raises you above the bitterness, the pain, what would you title that story? I'm waiting in the chat. I'd like to see a message. What would you title the story? What would you title your story? Anybody? Anybody wants to share? So let's move. I'm still waiting. I'd like to read the title to your story. Now let's talk about your filters. And what are your filters? Basically, when you think about filters, I think that a very easy way to think about it is something that sifts away impurities. To own your happiness, you've got to recognize that how you interpret and respond to life's events is largely shaped by your internal filters. These filters act as a sieve. So think about the sieve that you use for ogi, the sieve that you use for yam flour, and whatever it is that you filter. They are the lenses through which you process reality, the lenses through which you process life. And now we'll break down some of the filters. Number one is your values. And what are your values? They're basically the principles or the concepts that you hold there that are most significant to you. And the questions you should be asking yourself really is, who am I? What values do I hold there? Do these values align with my identity? Do these values align with the person that I am and the person that I want to be? Do these values align with the place that I want to be and the places that I want to go? Because it's one thing to have values that align with the current state that you are. Perhaps, not much is happening with you. But can you see a future ahead of you and set values that align with the future that you see? The next thing is our memories. And the beautiful thing is our memories, conscious or subconscious, accessed or not accessed, shape our present choices. So a painful experience from the past may cause you to approach similar situations with caution. Actually, there's a research that I find very interesting. So they put, I think it was with rats, and the what's it called? The final finding of that research is that fear and trauma travels through generations. It actually can travel up to 5 generations. So the question is, what are you harboring in your memory? How has your past affected you? And what decision are you making in the present that empowers your conscious mind to foster your happiness? Because I like to say to people, the future is now, but the past was literally 1 minute ago. And so you can rewrite your past by taking hold of the future. You can shape your memory and the things that you remember by taking hold of the future. What painful memories do you have that haunt you each time you recall them? Why do you feel bad when you recall those memories? Why? Now that you know why you feel bad when you recall those memories, the question is, what new meaning can you attach? What new definition can you give to yourself about the thing that life has thrown at you and the way that you have come out of it? What's the real lesson that life was trying to teach you? Have you learned it? If yes, why are you still holding on to the pain? If no, perhaps it's the pain that's blocking the flow. So do you want to let go of the painful memory? There's a way that we like to beat ourselves up about stuff. So if I ask you, what did you eat today? What did you eat 2 days ago? You probably won't remember, right? But if you make a bad meal today, and I'm asking you, how was your day? The first thing that comes to your mind is, I made one soup and the salt there, it was overflowing. But you have the choice and you can make the decision to choose meanings that are empowering, to choose to hold on to memories that promote your wellness, and to choose to let go of the ones that have held you bound until now. Forgive yourself. Forgive the people who have hurt you, and choose to take a step forward. Are you still with me? If you are, just put a thumbs up. Okay. My light just went out. Let's see if it gets back. So what are your beliefs? And your beliefs are convictions that you hold true. They are the form of boundaries. They form the boundaries of the condition of your thinking. Remember the case studies. Remember the examples that we gave. The reason why those people had the outcomes that they had is because they believed something. So now a quick exercise will be, what's your belief about money? What's your belief about marriage? What's your belief about success? What's your belief about God? And when you outline these beliefs, which of them is currently serving you? And which one has stopped serving you? Which one is currently helping your life? And which one is currently holding you bound? My question to you, if you have identified the one that is holding you bound, is why are you letting it hold you bound? What empowering beliefs can you pick up to replace those disempowering beliefs that have held you bound? I'm not good enough. Can you think about all the times when you actually did great, when you actually when you even surpassed your own expectations of yourself? Can you think about the times when you came through in ways that even you did not believe that you could? And can you hold on to those as you let go of the disempowering beliefs? Thank you, everyone. I see the chat. Now, your attitude. And this one is your established way of thinking. So you see people, some people they just don't care about anything. They don't care about life. They don't care about anything. The world can be falling apart. Their position is their position. But your attitude really is your established way of thinking and feeling about something. It's settled behavior. So you don't even have to think about it. It's just settled. The question is, how do you see life at the moment? Are you lethargic? Not inspired to do anything? Are you constantly tired and not having flow, not having inspiration, not having anything just to hold on to? Or are you in a place where your attitude is fostering your wellness? What's your attitude towards life, towards work, towards marriage and relationships? What's your attitude costing you? Because sometimes when we don't know the cost of things, you're just living life. But when you realize what the attitude is costing you, then It's a wake-up call. It's something that tells you, girl, sit up. This is what you're losing. This is what you're missing out on. And this is what you could be. So what's your attitude towards life? What's your attitude towards marriage? What's your attitude towards your partner? Are you constantly in an I don't care phase? Or are you working on yourself, trying to be better, letting go? See, today I'm just going to be ringing it in our ears. We can let go of the things that no longer serve us, and we can embrace new meanings. We can embrace a new life. We can embrace things that now serve us. Language. Language influences our internal dialogue. I can't remember the title of the movie, but I remember watching a movie, and this guy was hired to coach a footballer. The footballer had issues, character issues, basically. And it was just really aggressive. There was a lot of aggression there. And every time the coach would give the guy a book to read. And the guy would start and then get so frustrated and just throw the book out. But just by reading, after a while, his aggression level dropped. And do you know what happened? Do you know why his aggression level dropped? He had language to express himself. He could now express himself in words that he no longer needed to express himself physically. He no longer needed to use curse words. The words you use interpret the way that you see your reality. And that's why I like to say to people, befriend your internal shutter. And that's the speech going on in your mind, the speech going on in your head, the things going on there. You've got to befriend it. So you're hearing I'm not good enough. You've got to question it. Why do you believe it every time it says you're not good enough? Why do you believe it every time it says you can't? Why don't you remind it of the times that you could and you did? Why don't you remind it of the times that you were enough? So now go back to the first exercise, where you wrote down the words that pierced you, where you wrote down the words that affected you, the words that impacted you. And as you think about the ways that the words impacted you, the effects that it had on you, think about the language that you can replace it with. Decisions. Think about Legos. They're building blocks of your beliefs. Each choice you make reinforces your belief system. So look at this. A man has 2 sons, and he says to them, you will never succeed. One of the sons says, I've been cursed though. I shall never succeed. In fact, this man that has decided to lay a curse on us, let him see the effect of his words, the effect of his negative words. And this guy does nothing. He's not going to work. He's not following his passion. He's not living out his dreams. And this man, you remember he has 2 sons, and it's the 2 of them he laid that curse on. It's the 2 of them that he said, you will never succeed and you'll never do anything well. The other one says, who are you to speak to me in that way? Who are you to predict my future in that light? And this person takes ownership of his future and says, no, you have no say in my life to that extent. I do not give you the permission to dictate the way that my life goes. And this person chooses to walk, chooses to do things the way that he should. What do you think is the difference? It's a decision. It's a decision. One person made the decision to be impacted negatively by the word that was said. The other person made the decision to be impacted positively by what was said. Your decisions shape your journey. And so today I'm saying to you, make a decision that actually does shape your journey positively. Because whether you like it or not, your decisions are shaping your journey. The question is, are you making decisions that are shaping your journey positively? Now, meta programs, these ones, they're deeply ingrained. They're like DNA codes. They're ingrained patterns of thoughts and behavior that influence the way you respond to situations. They determine whether you focus on the past, the present, or the future. And we'll talk about it in the next topic. I like how beautifully interwoven the topics are. Being aware of your patterns helps you make changes. It helps you make adjustments. So you know that you, yourself, or nobody holding you back, nobody putting a gun to your head, that you can be lazy. And you have identified it as a problem. How are you addressing it? How are you addressing and adjusting those patterns? And you see, I'm saying adjusting because it's not a change that happens overnight. It's not a change that happens in 1 minute. It is something that you constantly put in the work on. The way that we do one thing is the way that we do everything. What's your personality type? Do you know it? Anyways, now we've spoken about 7 filters. Which of the filters spoke to you, and which one do you think you need to pay more attention to? Use the chat function. I want to see the one that you want to pay more attention to and the one that, just struck you. I'll be reading. Which one stood out for you? Which one do you need to pay more attention to? And which one do you need to work on a bit more? So look at this. The secret to a life of bliss is mastering your internal filters and choosing the meaning you wish to create from life's experiences. The secret to a life of bliss is mastering your internal filters and choosing the meaning that you wish to create from life's experiences. The meaning you give anything will determine what you experience, because nothing means anything unless the meaning that you attach to it. Happiness is a state that you can take responsibility for by understanding and refining these filters. Which one do you want to pay more attention to? I'm asking again. So the question is, how can I rediscover myself? I have let myself be beat down. I've let myself be overwhelmed. I've let myself come into this place where I don't even know who I am. What does your heart say? And I like to think that within everyone, deep within everyone, the answers to the questions that they need for life is in them. And if you sit with yourself long enough, you will find the answers that you're looking for. You'll find the answers that you need. So the question is, when last did you sit with yourself? When last did you examine your heart? When last did you ask yourself questions? So this really is a self-awareness exercise. What makes you happy? And by that, it means, what's your heart saying? What are your abilities? What's your personality? What's your passion? And what did yesterday look like? What were the good things that happened yesterday that you can tap into to be the person that you want to be? So now let's deal with shame. And I like this one because shame as a factor is something that at the beginning comes as a means of protection. It tries to protect us. But in the long run, we see that it doesn't serve us. So let's deal with it. What are mention the 3 most important heroes in your life. So people you like, say your football stars, your movie stars, your religious characters. Think about 3 people that you really like. 3 people that you really, really like. If you've written down those 3 people, write down 7 top attributes about them that you like. So the 7 attributes that cuts across the 3 of them. So you can pick 3 from person A, 2 from person B, and the rest from person C. Or you can pick everything from one person. Have you picked the 7 top attributes that you liked about them? What if you don't have up to 3? Oh yeah, do 1. If you don't have up to 3, do 1. Or do what you have, the number that you have, and then write down the 7 top attributes that you like about them. Now you've written 7. Pick 3 most important ones, the 3 that you really, 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 really admire. Remember, we spoke about the filter called language. So now we're going to use these attributes that we really like, and we're going to make statements with our names using those attributes. So for example, if the attribute that you picked and liked the most is that they're kind, you say to yourself, Janet is kind. If the attributes that you picked and liked the most about them is that they're beautiful, you can say to yourself, Omotola is beautiful. If the attributes that you picked and liked the most about them is that what attribute though? They're visionary. You can say to yourself, Itunu is visionary. Now, go back to the words that you detest. Yeah, Janet is patient, beautiful. Go back to the words that you detest, those negative words that we wrote from the first slide. Take a look at them again and attempt to change their meaning from what is unpleasant into something that inspires you. Change their meaning from the negative things, from how it's pissed you off, from how it's pained you. Think about the times that you have cried, you have hated the names and the labels, and give yourself a new meaning. Give it a new meaning. How do you feel about the new meaning that you've given this word? So, one last thing before we go to our commitment tonight is you determine the meanings that you give to things. And in there lies your power. That's your superpower. That's the key to your bliss, really. It's determining the meaning that you give to things and not letting anybody dictate what they would rather have you see. So now what's your commitment to yourself? If there's one word that will define you from now on, what would it be? How would you describe yourself? I want to see it in the chat. If there's one word that you could use to describe yourself from now going forward, this is how I want to be known. This is how I want to be identified. This is who I want to be known as. What would it be? What would it be? The next commitment question is, can you write out your positive affirmations based on your new discovery? Remember, language, the power of language, the power of meanings. So can you build your own bank of positive affirmations? So when all those voices come at you, you already have a ready tool. You already have something that you can hold against those words. And lastly, what would things mean to you from now on to promote your mental wellness? So we said all these things. How would you choose to interpret life and life's happenings, life situations? How would you what meaning would you choose to give to the events around you to promote your wellness? Okay, so do we have any questions? If you have any questions, you can leave it in the chat and then I'll address it. If you hit a roadblock as well during the session, you could just leave it in the chat and I'll attend to you. And quickly, we'll go into the next session, which is understanding your temperament. What can you see? I want to see it in the chat. There is an image on the screen. Tell me what you can see. Tell me what you can see. This one, we're not going to move it, don't talk. Okay, a mirrored reflection, two faces. Two faces, okay. Anybody else? What do you see? Mirrored reflection, interesting. What do you see? What else? Does anybody see anything else? Anything different? Nobody? Now it looks like a pillar. Okay. Anybody else? What do you see? Okay, while I give you, like a chest piece. Interesting, reflection of a face. Okay, let's see. What does this one look like? What do you see? Toad in water. The head of a horse. A horse giving bombastic side eye. A horse. But I'll tell you, the first time I saw this, I saw a frog. And then I looked again and saw the horse. But here, let's go back here. How come nobody saw the second thing? Can you see a vase? A flower vase? Anybody? Now that I've said it, can you see it? Just look at the white part. Jenna says, I know see also. I know, right? Now you see the flowers, right? Does anybody else see the flowers? That's what looks like the pillar if it's okay. Yes, I see. Okay, so look what we have here. There are those of us who can see the horse. There are those of us who can see the frog. There are those of us who can see the two of them. There are those of us who even still can't see the frog and the flowers, even though we have pointed them out. How does this apply to us as people? We see things the way we are, not the way they are, says a wise man. Oftentimes, couples drift apart and I still can't see the frog. I cannot see the horse. So you see, sometimes you just can't see it. But does it mean that the person who is seeing the frog or the person who is seeing the horse is wrong? No, it doesn't. It's just that based on where you are with life, based on the perspective that you have at the moment, what you can see is what you can see. But what happens most of the time, or oftentimes, is couples drift apart because one person wants to be right, and the other person wants to be right as well. So there are two people trying to be right here. But we forget that the two of them can actually be right without any of them being wrong. Do you see? Sometimes what makes us see things differently is how we're wired. So look at this. We're back to case studies. But before we get there, where are you going? You have 4 cars. I mean 4 vehicles. Where are you going with each of them? I need you to put it in the chat. If you want to unmute, unmute. Okay, so we've been doing a lot of chats. If you want to unmute, unmute and talk to me. Where are you going? Yay, they restored power. Where are you going with this? You have these 4 vehicles. Where are you going with the yellow one? Where are you going with the yellow one? Oh, a trip on a rocky terrain. Like it. Where are you going with the silver one? The one with the open roof. The convertible. Where are you going with it? A wedding. I like it. Where are you going with it? To the Oscars. Oh my goodness. I love it. On a cruise. The silver one. A dinner. Okay. Yellow. Anywhere. Oh. Okay, where are you going with the black one? Where are you going with the black one? Where are you going with the black one? And then the truck, where are you going? Fidelia is going to see the queen with the black one. Okay. Who else? A dinner, an intimate outing, Sha. Okay. The truck, where are you going? A black dinner. Okay. Truck to the farm. Okay. The black one. I think someone will drive me. Okay. Okay. It looks too serious for you, Abby. Where are we going with the truck? Truck to the farm, to the construction site, okay, where you need heavy duty vehicles. Anybody else? Where are you going with the truck? Truck for logistics. My building site. Anybody else? Where are you going with the truck? If you have not spoken, I'm looking at you. You need to use the chat. I'm trying not to put you on the spot, and I'm saying, okay, don't mute. Just type in the chat. You're not typing. I'm looking at you. The truck to carry cement to my building site. Okay, looks like we're all in agreement. What happens if I wake up one morning and say, this silver one, it's like you'll be good to carry cement too. What will happen to it? What will happen to it if I say, well, yeah, let me even put more cement inside you? You go spoil, Abby. Okay. It's not built for heavy duty. Abuse. Don't bring it to Ikorodu. So those of you who live in areas with bad roads, you can't even, you know that the silver car is not, it's not for you. You are looking at the yellow one or even the truck. But look at this. Now let's go. We're coming back to that picture, but let's look at this one first. Jane is always disorganizing the house. And it upsets Joe, who likes to organize. And he has constantly used his verbal power to call her disorganized. Now their relationship is strained because the guy is like, wait, though, from what? Jane is okay, it's not your Jane, it's not your Jane, it's not your Jane. From what me I know as somebody that have been as a man in this world, it's women that used to be organized. In this our relationship, it's me that is arranging. You are just scattering everywhere. Now their relationship is having troubles. What should they do? Jane, you are very organized. It's not your own Jane. Don't worry. What should this person do? Because he cannot just wrap his head around it. What's going on here? What I know is that it's women that used to be organized. Why is it that I'm the one that is organized? You are just scattering. I'm not even saying you should arrange. I'm saying when I arrange, don't scatter it. Joe should bakamu. For those of you who don't speak Yoruba, it means Joe should accept his fate. Me, I don't want to accept that kind of fate though. What should I do? Anybody else? And you people were talking when it was time for yellow and white car and silver car. Now you're not talking. We are talk. No wrong answers. I'd like to hear from you. What should Joe do? What should Joe do? Yeah, okay, you can't speak to Joe. Let me show you another family that is having troubles. I think it's a response to something. Maybe she's trying to get his attention. So maybe she's just intentionally scattering so that he will focus on her. Jane should try to fix up, and Joe should not get tired of arranging. Okay, so while she's fixing herself, Uncle should continue arranging. Tinuke is the first daughter of her family. Now she's the managing director of a leading startup. Her partner keeps complaining that she is not submissive because she's constantly coming up with new ideas. asking questions, confronting issues. Tinuke, on the other hand, complains that her husband is too concerned about what other people will think. He's too laid back. He's too timid. He's too sensitive. What's wrong? What can she do? Because she's tired though. And the man too is tired. He doesn't feel like she's submissive. What can they do? Because there's problem in this relationship now. Okay. This one we're It's like, what's going on here, right? What do you think? What do you think is wrong? And what can be done? They should register for this session. Okay. Communication, so everyone's perspective can be seen and heard. They should both keep praying. They've been praying since, so, and nothing is happening. What should they do? Because it's now like the prayer is not working. And they don't want to believe that the prayer is actually not working. So they are asking for practical wisdom to be able to solve this problem because it's getting out of hand. But let's go. We're like 4 different brand of cars. Unfortunately, you see this, they should keep praying, okay? So look at this. Unfortunately, or fortunately, we're like 4 brand of cars, right? But unlike the cars, you cannot choose where you're carrying your partner to, especially when you have agreed to do life with them. Even you as a person sometimes. But we're going to talk about what balance looks like. So for example, you're the Oma. What would balance look like when you have to appear at dinners? What would balance look like when you have to appear at the Oscars? You are the truck, the dependable truck. Today, we don't want you for long suffering. We don't want you to do we don't want you to do all those things. We don't want you to be the person who is persevering, the person who is holding on. We just want you to be that person who is able to stand up for themselves. That person like the Oma who is able to speak up when they need to. How do we do this? That's what we're going to be talking about now. If you're excited, let me know. Or if I should close my slides also, let me know. But I will not close my slides, so you better be excited. The intimidating Omar thinks of himself as Mr. Macho. A lot of people think I'm too hard and too strict. But it is because they don't understand that I just want to be effective. I cannot stand things not going well. I want to produce results that will make the world a better place. I may not have time for all the parties, and I may appear autocratic, but I have feelings as well. And I really want to change as long as you're willing to help me. But above all, I choose to accept myself because the me you see is as a result of my purpose. So this intimidating Oma is saying to you, you might think I'm too forward, I'm too pushy, I'm too driven, like our darling Tinuke. She's driven because, for her to be the MD of a leading startup, it means that there is something, there is leadership, there are qualities that our organization sees in her and says, you go girl, you're the person for the job. And now somebody is married to this person who is the intimidating woman and say, we have not even finished talking about this idea. You have come up with another one. What are we supposed to do? Such instability in our lives. And this person say, instability care. I just want everybody to be happy. I just want us to live a good life. I just want us to be able to produce results. What do you mean instability? And then there's this guy, the systematic fraud. I don't offer too much information about myself. I'm a fit, prim, and proper person. I'm internal and reticent. I love high standards, and it feels great when due process is followed. I dislike people who are too playful and get overly excited. I hardly show sympathy for people suffering because I believe our experience in life is a direct consequence of our actions. What did they do to warrant the suffering that they are going through now? I am very thorough and make presentations with great accuracy. If you want to get along with me, you've got to be prim and proper as well. How many of us watch Tinsel? If you watch Tinsel, tell me who sounds like this. Brenda. This is Brenda in Tinsel. She's prim and proper. She loves high standards. You can almost feel her shoulder pads high up there. The person is not proud though. The person is not even trying to be proud at all, at all. This is just who they are. They love high standards. Why are you playing too much? This world, this life is too serious. There are things to be done. Why are you playing? And there's this person. Me, I'm a truck. Just dump it on me. They're the ones carrying the problem of the world. I'm a peacemaker. See, there is nothing that you do or say to me. I'll just be looking at you. I understand and relate with people. It's not difficult for me to accept people and believe in them, even though I find it very hard to confront them when they hurt me. So sometimes I hold back a lot of things. I carry a lot of pain, a lot of hurts and burdens, but I don't want to hurt people. I'm a peacemaker. There's not so much about me other than the fact that I love to serve people. You're going on a trip and you need a nanny. I'm happy to help you. Somebody is sick and somebody is fainting. Call me, I'll help you. My last money, but somebody sent me a message that they've not eaten. Dump it on me. I'm going to send you money. Give me your account number. The Lord will provide for me. I'll be fine. As I'm talking, come and tell me in the chat which one you are. Are you a truck? Are you the Oma? Are you the Ford? The best way to enjoy me is not to shout at me. Sure, you see that I don't like confronting people. So make my life easy, please. Don't shout at me because I will withdraw. You see all these things that you're able to do, you're able to talk to me, you're able to dump things on me. The moment you make me withdraw, it's going to be hard to come back. But I am one of the most dependable human beings you can find on earth. If we're on a group project, you would find me on it. I'll be the person who is cheering everybody on, who is working, who is doing all the hard work. In marriage, I'm the one who is doing everything. Meanwhile, there's this person here, Chop Life Gang. People think I'm unserious, so you see the creative compatible people. As you can see, look at the card that describes them now. People think they are unserious. Some think they are not disciplined. Because why are you like this? Why are you so playful? Why are you everywhere? Don't you just stay in one place? But it's not my fault though. I like to be who I am. I like to be the life of the party. Look at me now. Check out my shirt. Check out my car. See the way the roof even opens. Like, you just know that I am the person. When I enter the room, I light it up. I love fun and I catch my fun. Although sometimes I overdo it. I agree. I've been repeating my mistakes. I make the same mistakes over and again, like clockwork. Even though every time I make the mistake, I try my best to tell myself I will not do it again. But I used to disappoint myself because the next time I'm back at it, making that same mistake. And lest I forget, please don't give me too many rules. I can't deal. I love you very much. Just don't give me too many rules and regulations. How many of us have these people in our lives? Or you are the person, you are the creative compatible. It's like, hey, now imagine This creative convertible who just likes life and the goodness of life, he's married to this precious woman who hates the overexcitement, whom the mere sight of the playfulness disgusts her. How do you think this marriage will be? Can we be everything? And I like this question. Because remember, when we were doing this thing, I told you, human beings are not cars that you can say, today, I'm not doing creative, I'm doing dependable. Tomorrow is systematic, I'm not carrying orange truck, I'm carrying black car. But to be a well-rounded person, there is a level of growth and development that cuts across these 4 personality types that we should have. Is leadership a good thing? Yes. Is being able to stand up for yourself a good thing? Absolutely. But what does this person need to do better? I'll wait for you in the chat. Let me see if you're following. What does the intimidating Oma need to do better? How do you think life will be if this person becomes less impulsive? Do you think their partners will enjoy them better? If they don't wake up the next morning and blow the family saving on something, how do you think life would be for this person if they are not as aggressive and they're able to respond in love when people are not responding at their own pace? Intimidating Oma should be calming down. I agree. So the intimidating Oma needs the peacemaking abilities of a dependable truck. And that's where it comes, where we've got to be able to balance things up. You're not a car. And you cannot decide to park yourself and say, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. Life, in the way that life is to be enjoyed to the fullest. And the way that you can enjoy life in all its parts and in all its forms is to build up the different personality types. So look at this couple. There is John. John is a systematic fraud. Remember what we said about the systematic fraud? They're prim and proper, high standards. They're internal. They don't talk too much. They don't let you in on their secrets. And they prefer order. They're process-driven. This guy has gone to marry Mary. Mary is a creative convertible. She's happy. She's fun-loving. She's a creative. She's energetic. And sometimes she lacks discipline. Remember, I make the same mistakes all the time, but I still love you. Assign roles and responsibilities to them in the home using this knowledge of their personality types. So the systematic fraud and the creative convertible. Who are we assigning financial management to in the home based on this information? John. Okay. Why are we assigning it to John? John. Okay. Looks like John is winning. Nobody is giving Mary the financial management. Nobody thinks Mary should manage money. But Mary is saying, me, when I was growing up, my mom used to say that the woman is the owner of the house. And my dad used to give her all the money that she needed, all the money that he earned. And she was the one that helped him manage the money. But this my husband is not giving me any money. Maybe we'll go and use it to shop when she's feeling down. You see, that's a problem. Money management requires discipline, and that discipline is lacking a bit when it comes to Mary, right? We agree. How about discipline when it comes to parenting? The children have done something wrong. What are we gonna do? Who are we sending them to, daddy or mommy? John again? John, what's the matter? Mary is jealous because Mary is like, what's going on here? You want to manage money. Now, discipline, you want to manage it. Is it not the woman that takes care of discipline in the home? You see what we're talking about yesterday when we're talking about culture, redefinitions, and stereotypes. If you let stereotypes rule you, you will Mary will buy them chocolates inside instead of disciplining them. You see, so you can't let stereotypes ruin you. You've got to be the person who takes hold, you've got to give it to the person who is better skilled at handling that particular thing. So long-term planning, they're thinking retirement, they're thinking home purchase. When we retire, what are we going to do? Where are we going to live? How are we going to live? Who is it going to? Who are we sending this to? Whose responsibility will this be? Long-term planning, retirement, home purchase, mortgages, John, still John. Now, social events, family bonding activities. Who are we sending this person? Who are we sending this responsibility to? Who are we assigning it to? Mary, fantastic. Now it's Mary's turn to shine. Mary, the life of the party. Imagine Jonah says he wants to be the person who is in charge of family bonding activities. Will Bodom not kill everybody? Bodom is going to kill us. Because we're going to be wondering why do we have to be prim and proper on a games night, right? Emotional support. Who are we leaning on? Who are we leaning on for emotional support? Mary again. It's Mary's time to shine. John will create bonding on spreadsheets. Exactly. They are going to have a spreadsheet. Mary for emotional support. Okay. So doctor's appointments. Doctor's appointment, who are we giving that to? John. Why? Because it requires order. It requires order. How about nurture? Nurture. Nurture, Mary. But now, Mary and John. Okay, fantastic. So now think about it. What challenges do you think this couple will be having? What challenges do you think they might be having based on what we have seen, this scenario that we have now? What do you think might be happening with them? Balance of strengths and challenges. And what challenges might John be facing? John may sometimes struggle to connect because John is prim and proper. Give it to me straight. Don't be going left, right. Don't be playing too much. So it might come across as cold. In as much as the children can get emotional support from Mary, they require a level of emotional support as well from their father. So this is where John now needs to build on himself and build his own creative convertible skills. Build his own fun-loving personality as well. And then his over-seriousness may cause problem with Mary because John is saying call times during the day, 12 noon during my lunch break, and 7 p.m. when I get back from work. Mary is like, I don't understand. So I cannot call my husband that I have a flat tire by 3 p.m. But John is saying, why do you want to interrupt my day? So John is got to be able to loosen up a little bit to accommodate Mary's fun-loving personality. To support the family more holistically, because life goes beyond spreadsheets. John needs to work on showing empathy, and he needs to be flexible. Yes, you like to have everything cast in stone, but sometimes you want to be a bit more flexible so that you don't become the lion of the tribe of your own, so that everybody is not just afraid of you and feeling bitter because you're around. What challenges will Mary be having? Remember, Mary the happy go-getter. Mary's tendency to avoid structure and discipline will interfere with John's preference for order. Remember, John is now the guy in charge of finance. John has done spreadsheet for the next 6 months. He knows the amount that the family will spend for the next 6 months. Mary wakes up one morning and she's sad and she says, shopping therapy or retail therapy. And Mary goes into the store and buys the handbag of her dreams and she comes back home. Or Mary is doom scrolling and she mistakenly falls or lands in Amazon and buys stuff. Unfortunately, the delivery guy did not come when he was supposed to come. He came when John was just driving in. Because if he came earlier, she would have been able to hide the package. But now John has seen that she ordered things with the money that she was supposed to use for something else. There's going to be a problem. So she's also she needs to embrace a bit of order in her life. I know that budgeting might be a bit difficult for her. Planning might be a bit difficult for her, but that's where she now needs to embrace some characteristics of the systematic board. Are you following me? If you're following me, say yes or give me a thumbs up in the chat. So yes, Mary will need to be more organized. Couple B, let's quickly run through them. The intimidating Oma, Victor, hardworking, goal-oriented, is strict, result-oriented, is efficient, and is effective. But there's Lola, the dependable truck. She's peaceful, she's nurturing, she doesn't have strength for wahala. Don't look for her trouble, please, because life is not that hard. She's very supportive, just be kind. Now, assign roles. Conflict resolution. Two people are fighting in the family. They want to settle the fight. Who are they bringing the fight to for settlement? It's Madame Lola, because she will preach the peace and the love to everybody. Discipline in parenting. Long-term planning. Social events and bonding. Emotional support. Financial planning and responsibilities. Decision-making. Nurture. What would happen if we put decision-making in Lola's hands? Remember, Lola needs to be sure. She just needs to be sure. She's thinking. Before she takes one step, she has thought about all the things that can go wrong and all the things that can go right. And the family has decisions to be made. Who are we putting that in the hands of? Balance of strengths. Remember, Victor is intense. He constantly focuses on results and efficiency. What this means is that he may be emotionally distant. So he needs to learn a bit about how to nurture relationships, how to nurture family, how to nurture people. Create time for relaxation. It's not every time work. It's not every time achievement. It's not every time ideas. Please just stay and let's enjoy life together. And he needs to also be very patient, because Lola might not have his drive. In fact, look at Lola's dependable. She just wants life to happen. She doesn't care about riches or no riches. She just wants to be okay. But you're here coming up with everything. She's like, I feel like I'm going to go mad if you come up with another idea. So look at this. To create a more balanced family, Victor will need to soften his approach, allow for emotional connection and understanding. And he needs to recognize that not every aspect of the family's life is about productivity. Sometimes we just need to be. Lola would need to wake up and stop avoiding confrontation. She will need to build boundaries and stand firm. If not, one day they will wake up and they will find that between Lola's lack of assertiveness and Victor's impulsiveness, there is no money left, because Victor, while he was impulsive, was spending away on projects, on things that he believed will work. And Lola, even though she knew it would not work, she did not say anything. What's her business? She doesn't like confrontation. So she's got to learn how to assert her boundaries. Her reluctance when it comes to the strictness can lead to imbalance where she's overly accommodating. She doesn't voice her concerns. She's like, whatever you say, okay, sis, or okay, my love, okay, my dear. And then when the family scatters, it will be like, I knew it. But why didn't you say anything, Sister Lola? To ensure the family's well-being, Lola needs to work on assertiveness. We already spoke about that. So this is it, really. The question that many people ask is marriage 50-50? But I always say marriage is 100 over 100. In building a team-spirited marriage, roles should be distributed based on each individual's skill level, as opposed to their gender. To build a successful family, we must leverage on our individual strengths while learning from each other. So it is not enough to say, because you are organized and me, I'm not organized, I'll continue being disorganized and you just continue being organized. It is that I will work. Remember when we're talking about meta programs, adjustments, little by little. The way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So maybe you want to pay attention to the way that you do one thing, so that in the long run, it affects the way that you do everything. Give your 100% per time. Give your best, basically, per time. Emphasize, the thing is, continuous growth is important. And when it comes to marriage as a union, when it comes to we as human beings, continuous growth is something that we must embrace and hold on to. So now look at this. Judgment versus understanding. We treat ourselves with mercy while we treat others with judgment. So in the chat here, while we were speaking, I don't know if we already did that, but can you just help me with what you think your personality is based on the descriptions that we gave? Which one spoke best to you? Now look at this. We treat ourselves with mercy while we treat others with judgment. Look at this. This is the intimidating Oma. This is how I see myself, but this is how other people see me. I see myself as bold. Other people see me as arrogant. I see myself as competitive. Other people see me as combative. They think I'm always out to get them. They think I'm always fighting. I see myself as risk-taking because, life is a risk. Other people see me as reckless. But this intimidating Oma who is saying, I don't know why they think I'm reckless. I'm just taking risks. I don't know why they think I'm combative. I'm just competitive. I don't know why they think I am offensive. I just like to confront issues and let them die before they linger. I am confident. I'm not disrespectful. But this person is married to a creative convertible. And he's looking at the creative convertible and saying, why do you exaggerate so much? Why are you so indiscriminate? Why do you trust everybody? But this person said, I'm just trusting. I'm just optimistic about life. I'm just charming. I'm just sociable. I'm just able to convince people. You see what's happening there is we're treating ourselves with mercy, but we're treating other people with judgment. So the question to you is, how have you labeled the people in your life? And what empowering meaning can you give to their particular attitude? So remember, we've been speaking about the power of meanings as it relates to us. But also, let's just pause a bit and think about the power of meanings as it relates to the people in our lives and in the way that we view them and the way that we address them. So you are seeing this systematic thought as someone who is emotionless. But the person is saying, I'm just logical. I'm just thinking about what is and what could be. You are seeing someone as laid back, and the person is saying, me, I'm just a steady person. No, I don't understand this laid back thing you're talking about. Do you want to give right meanings to the labels that you have given to people? And I'm just giving us a moment. Think about the people in your life whom you have looked at and said, this person is just not logical. Can you switch it in your mind and say, instead of seeing this person as illogical, let me see this person as passionate. And you know the beautiful thing about just that singular activity is it changes the way that you view the person. It changes the way that you react to the person's actions. It changes the way that you respond. You now begin to respond as opposed to reacting because you understand. And you're giving graces because you have found a meaning that is empowering. So I ask you today, in what areas have you misunderstood your spouse and those in relationships with you? So your friends, your colleagues, your parents, your siblings. And what would you do differently today? I want to hear you speak. What would you do differently today? I've been talking since, so it's time to hear you speak. What would you do differently today? In what ways have you been misunderstood? In what ways have you misunderstood people? And what do you think you want to change? Who wants to go first? I'm waiting. Who's going to speak?
Hi, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Thank you so much for your presentation. It's really eye-opening. For me, I'm just thinking of how I'm going to start incorporating this even towards my friends, my husband, my kids as well. Just understanding different personalities and not. So, for example, my son is a bit hyper, right? And so instead of saying, this boy, you too like play, or, you know, I need to start adjusting the way I talk, the way I perceive things. So thank you so much. I
Thank
took a
you.
screenshot, so I'm going to go back and sit with that
That's very
table.
good.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Does anybody else want to share? For a start, I'll stop thinking my friend is slow. Instead, I would know he is methodical. Okay, I like that one. Anybody else wants to share?
Yeah, I can share.
Okay, go for it, Rachel.
So for me, I could really resonate with the Victor and Lola because it seems like similar for me. In my case, I'm like Victor. I'm always on the move, always on the go. I want to do the next thing. I'm like, why you not moving? So like when you're just explaining, I saw reasons, for that adjustment. Um, and to understand the other personalities. Everyone cannot be on the go because it's been a struggle because I'm always on the next project, on the next thing. So that's like a very, very, very big takeaway for me. And just also understanding that I am giving mercy to myself or grace to myself and not the other person to meanwhile, it should be, and it could be vice versa for the other person. That's where conflict or frictions can come from. So it's just the adjustment that's takeaway for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Fantastic. I love that we're not just learning, we're learning and applying it to our lives. Does anybody else want to share before I hand over the mic? I'll make adjustments and try to do better. My sister is very organized and always arranging things while I'm the one who is disorganized. Oh, okay. I like that. So we're making adjustments, the way that we see and address people, and also the way that we act. Anybody else? Okay. So thank you for having me, Fidelia.
All right, amazing. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, so it was such a beautiful session. I think the energy was really high today in the room, and I want to say that I am so. Do I say I'm proud of you? I would say I'm proud of you guys, man, for making this room lively tonight. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Omotola, for shedding light. I mean, so much light tonight. Um, we are grateful that you guys joined in, and I mean, it's our dream to keep sharing this knowledge to you. So we still have a few minutes. So I just want you in one word to say what stood out for you tonight, because I know we've gathered a lot. So what stood out for you tonight? One word, one sentence. Just say something. Ah, with your popping lipstick. Oh, they say your lipstick is popping. Yes, yes. Who wants to say something? What did you take home tonight? You know, many times when we learn, we good, redefining yourself. We don't exactly assimilate everything at that point of learning, but you can at least pick something, one thing or another, that you go home with and helps you make connections with the other parts of your learning as time goes on. Good. Viewing people from different perspectives. Amazing. Amazing. So it just makes me know that we were in class tonight and we followed the teaching. So tomorrow is another day. Today is day 2, and we would be having this session and the final session tomorrow. I just believe that you have enjoyed yourself so far, so I know you would not want to miss tomorrow, and I really, really um, want to encourage you to be present tomorrow, because tomorrow we are going to be unwrapping that package. You know, we promised a surprise package at the beginning, so tomorrow we're going to be unwrapping that package. You do not want to miss it, and you do not want to miss the light that will be shed on the topic tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to be talking about family vision, marital vision, and trust me, that's so key. That's so key when we talk about marriage, when we talk about relationships. So once again, do not forget to join the WhatsApp group if you haven't, because some information will be dropped there shortly. And again, I want to assure you that this is not a forever living something WhatsApp group. Okay, it has a use, and we will make good use of it, and after that we would be done with it. But in the meantime, I would encourage you to join the WhatsApp group. If you haven't taken your assessment, please fill the assessment form. It's for a purpose, and the purpose is also for your own good. So please try and fill the assessment form. That's if you haven't filled it. Yeah, tomorrow more information would be passed across to you. So I don't know if Marina has some final words for tonight.
Thank you, Fidelia. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining. Omotola, big ups to you. Maximum respect. Like, it was very, very enlightening. It's almost like one of those conversations where you can hear it 3 different times and get 3 different perspectives every time. Like, there's something new to learn. And for me, I think one of my biggest takeaways is just don't take the convertible to a building site or drive the truck to the Oscars. Like, everything is fine by itself. It now
Yeah.
depends on the responsibility that you put on it, the use that you're trying to attach to it. That's what determines what the problem is. And just like Rachel was saying, I was listening and I was just putting people in different boxes and saying, oh, that sounds like this person. Oh, that's what was happening. That's what I was doing, even though I've seen this and I've heard it several times before. So thank you very much. That's been such an eye-opener even for me as well. And I'm excited to see how it all comes together tomorrow, because tomorrow is like the icing on the cake, just tying all of these individual pieces into that beautiful picture of what our families can look like. So please don't miss tomorrow. It's going to be exciting. I'm just so happy to see it all come together. Thank you. Thank you, Fidelia.
Thank you so much, Marina. Thank you, thank you. I mean, this was so amazing. So yeah, I can see some people are already leaving. Thank you. We've come to the end of the webinar tonight. We shall see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.